Did you know that Mike Pence is the only GOP presidential candidate to publicly support a national abortion ban at 6 weeks? Did you know that the Senate previously saw the reintroduction of a bill that would bar any U.S. president from withdrawing from NATO without Senate approval or an act of Congress? Did you know that Joe Biden's campaign raised $72 million during the second quarter of this year? This brings the total cash on hand to $77 million. Did you know that Doug Burgum's presidential campaign raised $11.7 million? $10.2 million came from a loan Burgum made to his own campaign. Did you know that Joe Biden edges out Donald Trump in a head-to-head matchup poll by Emerson College? Biden was found with 44% support compared to Trump's 43%. Did you know that Donald Trump leads Joe Biden in a head-to-head Florida matchup poll by Florida Atlantic University? Trump garnered 40% support compared to Biden's 39%. Did you know that Nikki Haley raised $7.3 million during the second quarter of this year? An aligned super PAC also raised $18.7 million during the quarter. Did you know that John Tester raised $5 million for his re-election campaign during the second quarter of this year? The Montana Democrat is a top target Senate Republicans hope to oust. Did you know that Donald Trump leads heavily in a Florida GOP primary poll? A Florida Atlantic University poll found Trump with 50% support. DeSantis followed with 30%. Did you know that Vivek Ramaswamy's presidential campaign raised $7.7 million during the second quarter of this year? This includes $5 million from Ramaswamy himself. Did you know that Ron DeSantis dodged a question on abortion? When asked if he would sign a federal 6-week abortion ban, DeSantis did not answer but said that Congress is not making much progress on the matter. Did you know that Donald Trump's joint fundraising committee raised over $35 million during the second quarter of this year? The committee is composed of Trump's official campaign and his leadership PAC Save America. Did you know that Alabama's House of Representatives approved a new congressional map? This news comes following a court order. However, the new map would not create a second majority black district as the court ordered. Did you know that Tim Scott's presidential campaign raised $6.1 million during the second quarter of this year? 75,000 contributions from over 53,000 unique donors contributed to the sum. Did you know that Donald Trump is surrounded by concerns over his health? An NBC News poll found that 55% were concerned about Trump's mental and physical health, including 44% who had major concerns. Did you know that Vivek Ramaswamy reframed the narrative surrounding the January 6th riots? Rather than stating that Trump enabled the riots, Ramaswamy said that the riots were caused by what he called pervasive censorship. Did you know that Tommy Tuberville is widely approved of by his constituents? A Morning Consult poll from May showed that 50% of respondents in Alabama approved of Tuberville's performance while only 32% disapproved. Did you know that the House passed a bill to reauthorize the Federal Aviation Administration for 5 years? The bill now heads to the Senate, and both chambers will have to come to an agreement before the current FAA authorization ends on September 30th. Did you know that Ruben Gallego raised $3.1 million for his Arizona Senate campaign during the second quarter of this year? The average donation was $29, and 98% of the donations were for $100 or under. Did you know that Iowa's 6-week abortion ban was temporarily blocked from taking effect? Judge Joseph Seidlin ruled that a lawsuit by abortion providers is likely to succeed, and the temporary injunction will remain in place for the duration of the lawsuit. Did you know that Donald Trump leads heavily in a GOP primary poll by the Morning Consult? The poll found Trump with 56% support followed by DeSantis with 17%. Vivek Ramaswamy came third with 8 while Mike Pence came fourth with 7. Did you know that Ron DeSantis backed Tommy Tuberville's blockade on military nominations? DeSantis said that the Pentagon is funding abortion tourism and that as president, he would end the Pentagon's policy of providing paid leave to service members seeking an abortion. Did you know that the Biden administration is suspending all federal funding to the Wuhan Institute of Virology? This news comes following a memo from an administration official who said the facility has repeatedly refused to provide documents and answer questions about safety and security. Did you know that the Biden administration has announced another student debt relief plan? It covers $39 billion for 804,000 borrowers. It works by canceling remaining balances for borrowers after they have made their payments for 20 or 25 years. Did you know that Joe Manchin raised $1.3 million during the second quarter of this year? Manchin's Country Roads PAC also raised roughly $400,000. Manchin's campaign holds $10.7 million cash on hand while his PAC holds $2.2 million. Did you know that Donald Trump leads in a New Hampshire GOP primary poll by the Granite State poll? Trump garnered 37% support followed by DeSantis with 23%. Tim Scott came third with 8. Chris Christie and Doug Burgum tied for fourth with 6% each. Did you know that Tim Scott will be buoyed by a massive ad campaign? An aligned super PAC will spend $40 million on ads that will stretch from September 7th to January. The television ads will run in Iowa, New Hampshire, and South Carolina as well as on national cable networks. Did you know that the Biden administration previously announced a plan to plug orphan wells? $660 million in funding will go toward plugging wells abandoned for extraction by the oil and gas industry. Orphan wells are associated with major safety and health hazards, including those related to methane. Did you know that the Senate saw the Judiciary Committee pass a bill to advance Supreme Court ethics reform? The bill would require justices to adopt a code of conduct and create a transparent process for members of the public to submit ethics complaints against members of the court. It would also require the Supreme Court to adopt disclosure rules for gifts, travel and income. Did you know that the House voted to approve a resolution backing Israel? This follows recent comments by Pramila Jayapal, who said that Israel was a racist state. The resolution was passed with 412 votes in support and says that Israel is not a racist or apartheid state while also rejecting anti-Semitism and xenophobia. It also affirms U.S. support for Israel.